Hello and welcome. I am Stacey Thomas, author, ALS advocate, film producer, and talk show host. I'm here to motivate, educate, and entertain. Join me on YouTube every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Stacey Thomas Talk Show, where we have powerful discussions centered around health, relationship, careers, and everyday conversation. Follow me on Facebook, I am Stacey Thomas. On Instagram, Stacey Thomas Talk Show. And don't forget, I can promote you too. Email me at iamstaceythomas@gmail.com. Now, it's time for the show. Hello, everybody. This is I am Stacey Thomas, and you're watching the Stacey Thomas Show. For all of you guys that normally watch, I'd like for you to know that I am still thankful. I am not bragging. God just seems to continue to bless me with amazing guests. And tonight, I would like to welcome the Dustin Wade. He's running for delegate for the 75th district in my area. I am very excited about this interview. Let's bring him on. Hello, Dustin.
Hey, Stacey, how are you?
I'm good, Dustin. I'm excited about this interview. First, let me say thank you again, Dustin.
Absolutely. Thank you and your guests and listeners for bringing me on the show.
Well, you know what? I am here. I always say to inspire, motivate, educate, and at times entertain with my guests. And if there's something that I think people need to know, Dustin, or someone I think people need to know about, excuse the noise, I am the first one that says, hey, how can I get you to come on the show to talk about what you're doing? Dustin, your commercial. I'm not a big political person. The last 2 years, few years, I've really been paying attention. I'm not happy with everything that's going on. So when I ran across your commercial on social media, Dustin, I said, let's see if he's real. I saw someone that looked like was in a wheelchair.
Yes, ma'am.
That got my attention. And then I heard the words you started speaking about health. I said, you know what? I need to talk to him. Dustin Wade, you're a young man. Tell us a little bit about yourself because I'm still amazed at how young you are taking on this big job.
Absolutely. So I was born right here at Hopewell. Lived here pretty much my entire life. Between Chester, Hopewell, and Prince George, was a product of both schools. Went on to nursing school. Went to a technical school, then went back, got a bachelor's degree in health administration. Over the last 10 years, me and my husband, actually, we've been owning and operating group homes across Chesterfield County. We are licensed through the Department of Behavioral Health, and we provide services to individuals that are under the waiver program through Medicaid. We provide non-center day support services, which is community engagement programs where we give individuals the opportunity to interact with the community, just like you and I do. We build relationships with those people. They go to the same place. They build that rapport with those people, just like when they come into the post office. John at the post office go, hey, Cindy, welcome back to the post office. So just making sure they get recognized just like you and I do beyond their disability. That's the goal of that program, and to provide them with the supports they need to thrive in the community. And we've been doing it for about 9 years.
Dustin, for you and your husband to be doing this, first of all, when one person is doing it, but their spouse is doing it also, I always say that's an amazing thing because that's the best team right there, right?
Absolutely.
For you both to be involved in this, what is it? Is it something personal for you guys? What is it that made you both want to not only help others, but now you're running for delegate?
Yes. So my mother struggled. She had me when she was 15. This is my father was 16 when he you know they had me and were was a father. He had an intellectual disability, and so did my mother. My grandmother worked in special education in Petersburg City Public Schools. My aunt worked at Hopewell Public Schools in the special education department, and then my current aunt serves as a parent resource director in Prince George County at special education. So I've always had a passion for making sure that individuals that are vulnerable were taken care of. I have two cousins that have disabilities as well, so it's always been a normal part of our life to advocate and speak out and make sure that the most vulnerable have what they need. When I got into this field about 9 years ago, I never realized how fortunate my cousins were, because there are a lot of individuals that have special needs that do not have the supports they need or stable homes in place. And they're often the forgot about population, I do believe. So that's kind of what drives me a little bit.
It's it's something how with people out here, Dustin, when we choose to fight for something, a lot of us fight because we've gone through it or we know someone that's gone through it. I think that's even better sometimes than someone saying to me they've spent, and this is nothing against doctors or anything. I think what you're doing, you're in the nursing field, you have relatives, you have friends that are actually going through things. I think it's the experience, Dustin, that's
Yes,
gonna that's gonna help people relate to you because we don't want to hear about everything in the textbook. I want to know about someone that has an idea of what I'm going through with my mentally challenged son or daughter. Um, I brought up to you ALS disease. So
yes.
I have to ask you, Dustin, in your fight or your advocating, will you think about neurological diseases when you're fighting for healthcare?
Absolutely. My aunt, the aunt that spoke about that was worked at Hopewell City Public Schools in the special education department that has a child with cerebral palsy. She passed away with Lou Gehrig's disease and ALS. And I had a family friend. This hit twice in my family, and
Oh,
within a very
wow.
short time frame, a family friend also passed away as well. With I watched them progress, from start to finish. Start off with a paralysis in the hand, and then progress to full paralysis, and then how that disease process works. And I would love to make sure that we can do whatever we can to make sure they have the funding they need and the research that they need to do provide a cure. So
Wow. I'm very sorry about the loss of your aunt
yeah,
and your family or friend that you said also had ALS disease. That's something I'm big on. I want to know not just that people are fighting for ALS disease, but it really makes me feel good when I know that you're fighting for someone. So thank you to you and your husband, and thank you for
absolutely,
being out here to speak out.
absolutely.
How will Dustin, tell us 2 or 3 things, whatever makes you comfortable. What do you want voters to know as far as what it is that you are gonna be fighting for?
I'm going to be fighting for the accessibility to mental health care in the region. I do think that a part of some of the violence that's going on in the city of Hopewell right now is because people are caught in a vicious cycle within the system. Um, I think that when people don't have money, ways to make money, and they need things, and they're struggling with mental health, they're self-medicating because mental health is real, and we have a lack of services in that area. City of Petersburg and Hopewell had the highest overdose rates over the last couple of years. In tie with the city of Richmond, and City of Hopewell and Petersburg are managed under the same Department of Behavioral Health agency called District 19, which is a large area. It includes, a large portion of the Tri-Cities and the southern, Virginia, Prince
Mhm.
George, Dinwiddie, and all those counties. And I do think, we need to make sure we take care of those things so we can attack the violence altogether, the root cause of all of that. That's what I do as a nurse, and I do a lot of like quality assurance. We try to find the root cause. Well, root cause is because people have mental health problems, so they're self-medicating, so they don't even have a drive to go to work because they can't even function in their regular life because they have a lack of support. And just the job situation, we can build more job training, we can build technical schools. People don't have to go to a 4-year college. We need adult education, second careers in the area, technical schools that can help produce more mental health professionals, mental health technicians. We can employ the ones that have, peer recovery specialists is a big thing. We can make sure we have all the things in place, and like I said, employ those that are recovering and are in need, and then that promotes a taxpayer. You know what I'm saying? It's very simple. I just feel like you just got to get in and talk to the people and actually like believe in what you're talking about and actually hear the people out. That's what they're struggling with. And I said, I mean, all that just, once you get caught up in the gun violence and all that stuff, now you have to steal to get, what you need because you need food. It's a vicious cycle. And once you get caught in it, it's hard to get out if you don't have the resources in place.
Wow, you have said
A
a
lot,
mouth
probably.
No, no, you've said a lot. You've said a lot of what needed to be said. People often look at someone and say, "You know what? There's no help for them." Someone's on drugs, there's no help for them. Someone's autistic, there's no help for them. Why can't we get together? Why can't we find the root of the problem? If we could get to the root of the problem, we could help people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
And
set people up for success. Seriously. That's part of the problem too. We have no discharge programs, hardly beyond 30 days. My sister's a recovering drug addict and she's been in and out of the incarceration system, which I don't think people that have committed nonviolent crimes, our first thing is always incarcerate people and put them in these programs, which holds them back. I am not for incarcerating people that need help with the mental health issues. That we need to have more programs in jails beyond the CART program here in Chesterfield. Riverside Regional Jail has had a horrible reputation of incarcerating people, and I don't even know. Like I said, my sister was at a methadone clinic for the last 6 years. She was, reformed, going through heroin. She was a heroin addict. In addition to her intellectual disability. So that is, like I said, it hits very close to home too. And she lived in Hopewell, and it was a product of the opioid crisis. So it's still alive and well, and that was because of the mental health trauma.
just Justin, you know what? I'm just gonna say this. God makes no mistakes in the people he connect you with. We've got the ALS in common. My son, who people tend to judge and don't realize he wasn't raised this way, has been in the heart program, is currently in the heart program in Chesterfield. Let me tell you something. I can't wait till the day he gets clean and I can have some of them on my show. What they're doing, in my opinion, over there at the heart program, Justin, more jails need to have that program.
Me too. We need to expand on that program.
Right. That there's a therapist over there when we go to family, when they've had family night. And I learned this. That's why I'm glad I'm talking to you. I learned that he didn't just get on drugs. There's something deeper that he has to deal with.
Absolutely.
Most people would say, I go back to, long story short, in my house, he used to have canker sores. Doctor after doctor, nobody knew what was wrong. And then a doctor in Richmond said, stress, maybe anxiety. And in my house, it was said, young people don't get stressed. What do they have to be stressed about? Dustin, I can't help but wonder, when we ignore signs, is that what leads up to the drugs later on, Dustin?
I think it's a society as a whole. The mental health stigma, we got to tackle that as well too, because a lot of people that talk, oh, she's just crazy, and that stigma does stick in it. Kind of when we break that stigma by talking about it and educating the public, it's okay. We all have mental health issues. It's okay to be stressed, and we bring that education to the people. Then we can walk forward too, because when we recognize it is the same as hypertension, diabetes, it's a mental health, and healthcare is the same thing. We have to take care of both to be holistically, stable enough to walk as a productive citizen of the society like people want us to be. So we can't even walk forward if we can't even, have the basis of our pyramid, the foundation laid down. And part of that is having access to mental health and healthcare. And
Dustin,
housing too. I mean, all
housing.
that plays a big part of it. Poverty, generational poverty in Hopewell, all of that is a vicious cycle that
Right.
we have to try to break.
Right. Hopewell has changed a lot over the years. I think I told you I grew up in Hopewell. I went to school in Hopewell. I go to Hopewell now. It looks different. I don't see the people that I used to see. I've heard over the years about things that have happened in Hopewell and I'm not bashing Hopewell, but things have happened in Hopewell that we didn't see. You're young, Dustin. It wasn't always like this. So I look forward to seeing what you do when you're elected, Dustin. And Dustin, I have to ask you, this isn't a nice world. Politics does not seem to be a fun thing to be a part of. What keeps you grounded, Dustin? What prevents you from being affected that when the people who don't agree with you speak negative things? I guess what I'm trying to say, Dustin, this is your first time in politics.
It is. It
You want to
is.
make some good things happen for people. Everybody's
Absolutely.
not going to be happy about that, Dustin. How do you stand your ground and continue to fight?
First and foremost, I'm a nurse by trade. Some nurses are some of our best advocates, and that's what I've always done is advocate. And when you walk forward with positivity. All that negativity will fall off because you continue to fight it with positivity and continue to try to engage because they're going to get sick and tired of talking to you. We can talk about a lot of things that we can all find common ground. And that's what you got to do. You got to keep trying to have those conversations and find that common ground. That's how you combat the negativity. Um, and you just don't acknowledge it. If you don't acknowledge it, it doesn't exist, and just keep throwing out the positivity and talking to people what they really want to hear, and that's how you're going to help them improve their general daily life, and just across the board, right?
W- Wow. To be young and so energetic, to be so passionate and intelligent, Dustin,
Thank you.
thank you. And to all your nurse friends, my best friends are nurse. Kudos to you guys.
Thank you so much.
Dustin, when you are elected and they give you your office, can you describe what your leadership style will be, you think? What are you planning to do? I mean, we know what you want to do, but tell us a little about you as a leader.
So, as a nurse, like I said, I keep referring back to that because, like I said, it taught me a whole lot. It's who I am today. We make assessments, and I feel like you really got to continue to engage on the ground and bring people that I know in the community, people that the professionals. And I've had some mental health town halls that would bring in people to talk to the people, town halls to make sure that every voice is heard. One umbrella, a voice for everyone. That whole um, I guess image there. That's my kind of style. Like I just want to engage and make sure everyone is heard, because if everybody feels heard and then that's the first step, because then you feel like, oh my God, this person actually cares. Well, we do care for you. Well, you should be heard, because
Right.
this is our life. You only get one of them, and then you try to do the best here we can with each other and try to hear each
Wow.
other out.
Wow. Dustin, you're amazing. How do people help you, Dustin, campaign, or are you one of those people that you just got $1 million in the bank and you can do it all yourself, or do you want others to donate, and how can they donate?
Um, the biggest thing to do right now is not the money situation, it's getting out and knocking doors with me, engaging with the people at this point. That's the biggest thing you can do, is engaging with people, because when people hear your message, it goes beyond the money. I believe that, I have people that are, we've knocked thousands of doors. I'm not going to give our number because it's going to be a surprise. I think that how long we've been knocking and how much we've done. We've been knocking since there was snow on the ground and I had a heated jacket. So, uh,
Wow.
yes, ma'am. So, I think that's the biggest thing right now. If people did want to donate, you can go to my website, dustinwadeforvirginia.org. But I would rather you come out and talk to the constituents with me and just get to know your neighbors. And actually, that's how you start building community awareness and positivity, that there are people out here that want to make positive change. So, and that's part of the first step, talking to
Wow.
people.
So, Dustin, you have people out here
Yes, ma'am.
that have never voted,
Absolutely.
and then you show up and uh, you're gonna touch a lot of ears. People are gonna want to know more about you. But for that person that sits there and thinks that their vote don't count, Dustin, why should a voter come out and vote for you?
I was I was born here. I've been through some of the same things that a lot of us have been through. And you can't lose hope. We only lose hope when we don't fight. And part of fighting is actually standing up and voting. So, I'm out here putting myself on the line for you to make sure your voice is heard. One thing I can ask for people to do is just go out and vote, whether it's for me or whoever. You go out and vote, because that's making your voice heard. Like I said throughout this entire show, just empowering people to go out and make their voice heard. And you know, I've I came from a single wide trailer in Chester, and if I can do this, then I do think that anyone can, and your voice and your vote matter. So
Wow. You're gonna
just
make me
touching
get
people.
you're gonna make some tears come out of my eyes.
Oh Lord.
No, it's you being so transparent, and
I
I
think
like
that's
what you
where I can connect with people. Like I tell people all the time, I was a nursing assistant before I became a licensed nurse, and I've talked to people in their worst times. So if I can do that, then I definitely can talk to people one on one. I'm definitely not your person that's going to have this large speech on stage, but I will make sure I take care of you. Anyone that knows that knows me, and I'm a man of my word. I said that.
wow. And I like how you said you're standing up for us. You're putting yourself out there. People are looking at you and your family, putting at what you do for your professional career. The least, the least we can do if we need a Dustin Wade is to get up and go out and vote.
Absolutely.
Dustin, It's been great.
Yes, ma'am.
If
It has
you
been. Thank you.
if you need to come back on this platform, Dustin, just hit me up. I am wishing you the very best. Dustin, I will vote. Dustin, give me a safe neighborhood. I'll come out. I'm 53, Dustin. I can't run fast.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll go with you. We'll go together. Like I say all the time, their first cameras come with me. It's fun. I'll make it fun for you. It's and show you how, to engage with people and, you know, bring it back to making people laugh. And when you make people laugh, it really cuts the ice too. Whatever it is, compliment something they have, their garden, their home,
Right,
breaking that ice. So,
right.
and I can help you
Well,
do that. I would love to go out with you. So,
okay. So Dustin, what we'll do is if you're gonna do it on a weekend or something, anyways, I'm not gonna bore you with that. Hit me up, Dustin, when you think you're gonna have
absolutely.
the patience, and let's see what we can do. I'd like to help out. And thank you again
Yes,
for
ma'am.
blessing my platform, for being a nurse, because I know from listening to my girlfriend, it takes a lot. And thank you for be willing to come out on the front line and fight for those of us who can't fight for ourselves.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Stacy.
Take care and wishing you the very best, Dustin.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Want to be heard? Get featured on the Stacey Thomas Show. Join Stacey for conversations on entertainment, books, and entrepreneurship. Don't miss out. Elevate your brand today. Book your interview now. Email IamStaceyThomas@gmail.com.